Sometimes I feel like I'm embrangled in the vortex of existence, navigating storms of challenges while seeking truth and authenticity. My life at times feels like a swirling current, relentless, all consuming, and disorienting. As I stand at the center of this storm, I find myself pulled in every direction by the weight of a desire for spiritual rectitude, by the forces of partisan politics, environmental decay, financial strain, societal expectations, and the looming shadow of my mortality. It is a chaos not unfamiliar to many, but within its eye, I'm always searching for something steady, my truest self. Religion for me has always held both comfort and complexity. It offers structure and meaning, a spiritual home, and a moral compass in an increasingly confusing world. But it can also impose limitations, asking for conformity when my soul yearns for freedom. I wrestle with the expectations of faith, communities, and traditions, with their lines drawn too sharply in a world of blurred realities. There are days when I ask myself whether I'm being true to God or merely compliant with the doctrines shaped by the hands of men. My faith is deep, but my questions run deeper, and I refuse to believe that doubt is the enemy of belief. Partisan politics, meanwhile, feels like a battlefield where truth, fairness, and justice go to die. Ideological extremes shout over each other, demanding allegiance to party labels and colors. I watch as people I love turn against one another, swept up in the rhetoric of us versus them. And I feel caught between caring deeply about justice and refusing to be consumed by anger or bitterness. In such an environment, to be true to myself means not surrendering to the cynicism of the times or not being manipulated by fear and holding fast to the hope that integrity still has a place in the public square. The environmental crisis haunts me like a persistent shadow. I hear the rivers crying out, the trees falling, and I see the bees are vanishing. I feel responsible and yet overwhelmed. How do I live gently on the earth while surrounded by systems designed to exploit the natural resources for convenience, greed, and the unbridled acquisition of wealth? Sometimes the grief is paralyzing, but I remind myself that small actions matter, like the tilling of the soil by Aimee and Celia, composting by Jed, beekeeping by Nathaniel and Terry, teaching others how to care. To be true to myself is to be in the right relationship with the natural world, even when it means swimming upstream. And then there are the financial pressures that grind away at dignity and peace of mind. When the bills pile up like aggressive accusations, dreams feel deterred not by lack of will, but by lack of means. The economic system often seems rigged for a few, leaving the rest of us to hustle endlessly just to survive. I strive to live simply. I strive to live simply, to prioritize my values over possessions. But there are days when exhaustion whispers, give up. On those days, I hold fast to my integrity, refusing to be defined by my bank balance. Social and societal issues compound the stress: gender roles, racial injustice, the rise of isolation in an age of hyperconnectivity. The noise of the disgruntled is deafening. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone is offended, sometimes unleashing their anger upon the vulnerable and the innocent. I struggle to find a voice that is both courageous and kind. And I want to speak truth without wounding, to listen without absorbing every hurt. The world feels brittle, but my spirit aches to stay tender and resilient. And always there is the awareness of my mortality. Life is short, time is precious and fleeting. None of us have a guaranteed promise of tomorrow. The deaths of loved ones echo through the years, reminding me that I too am just passing through. Mortality could be a source of dread, but I try to let it be my guide. It urges me to live with urgency and authenticity, to love nature and humanity, to make time for what truly matters, to be the best that I can be as a beekeeper, to leave something indelibly meaningful upon the pages of life. In all of this conflation of faith, politics, ecology, economy, society, and mortality, I seek the thread of truth that belongs uniquely to me, not the truth handed down to be unquestioned or the truth imposed by outside forces, but the quiet, steady voice within me. I strive that to be true to myself does not mean having all the answers, but daring to ask the right questions. It means resisting the grand illusion, and when I must, surrender to the greater flow when it leads me to the deeper waters, where clarity is crystallized in undeniable reality. Being caught in life's vortex is not a failure or a yoke which cannot be unharnessed. It is proof that I'm alive, awake, and aware. The challenge is not to escape the storm, but to stand in it with eyes wide open and with an open heart, to live with intention and unselfish purpose, to love and speak the truth without fear, to keep becoming and always remain true to myself.